Hello, I'm EnterElysium. Welcome to Aurora 4X, where we have the most aggravatingly in-depth, yet amazingly fun space strategy game possible. We've just built the Ragland, which is our auxiliary carrier. If we refresh over here, we will see it in our defense force. We're actually going to just attach you into your own thing. Now, the Ragland is going to be able to shift 20 of our Naval Sponge missile platforms, and then hopefully we can just deposit them next to a jump point, and they can just stay there for like 50 years. And if anyone comes through, we can just target them with 8 missiles per launch pad, i.e. for 20, 160 missiles. Now, obviously, we might not want to necessarily fire all of them at one target. It might be annoying. We'd have to replace them, and it is like a year's worth of production, but still fun. So, to do this, we're going to need to get the Ragland, and we're going to need to then put people onto it. Now, annoyingly, fighters in C# are just terrible. They are just really frustrating to actually move around. The UI is not good. So, I mean, you might have guessed that. We're going to go down to New Fighters Earth, which has a load of our fighters in it. I'm actually going to go to the ship list, and you'll see that it is 47 Naval Sponge. Now, actually 2 of them aren't fully armed. So I'm actually just going to give a quick order to load ordnance at Earth, and then we're going to go forward to like 2 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour. There we go. Takes time to actually load ordnance. Ship list, and they're all refueled. Now, it doesn't tell us how many are highlighted, so we're going to have to try and guess at 20. So, 1. You can box select on the ship list screen, by the way. You can't do it here, so annoyingly. I don't know why. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, if that's 5... I'm going to hope that's 20. I'm going to detach. 20! Yeah! Okay, so we're going to name you, and we're going to go with a rename, and we're going to call you OWP, Orbital Weapon Platform, Void Wall. This is the Void Wall fleet, because it was the Void Wall Act that demanded from my interaction stuff that we have over in... Where is it now? Vulgaris. We have some defenses. So we're going to go set up some defenses over in Vulgaris in case anyone jumps through from Agent. I also need to redo that map. Sneezing. Okay, sneezing done. So, we're going to need to give them a movement order for the naval fleets. We'll look at the Ragland and say, land on specified mothership, and we won't assign a mothership because they're going to just get off at the other end, and that's going to be that. And then land on that ship. Now, I know they don't have an engine, but all ships, regardless of engine, still can move at 1 kilometer per second. Kind of necessary to be able to do stuff because everything is based on a movement order, even though they're in the same place. It's kind of like they have like tiny little reaction thrusters or something for it. So 5 seconds. They've completed their order. And now you'll see this. The sponges are in the fleet, but they are in a bracket, which means that they are landed on the auxiliary carrier, the Ragland. Now, this is where it gets weird. They are like listed like any other craft in this fleet, but they aren't. Like, you can't detach them like easily. You can detach them individually. Again, the best way to actually detach your fighters and deploy them is if we go to the ship list and we detach them from here. What I meant to say is, like, if I detach the Ragland to just leave the fighters there, it will actually take all the fighters with it. It's kind of weird. What it should do in my head is it should automatically make that into a subfleet of the Ragland that we can detach, but it doesn't do that. You can do stuff with subfleets, but it's not easy, and it involves back and forth and there. Anyway, so now we're going to ask the Ragland to movement order, go to the Vulgaris jump point, and go to the Agent jump point, and then we're just going to move to location. We're actually going to go through it. We're just going to move location. And then what we'll do when we're there used to be a, like, launch fighters command. There isn't. We have to detach. So when they're there, we'll manually detach them. And then we should have a load of weapon platforms. We'll need to turn on the sensors, actually, because they're off at the moment. I wonder if we can say active sensors on. wonder if that'll work, because they're technically inside the Ragland. Are they going to turn on the sensors even though they're inside the bay? I'll have to see. So, they're going to do that. Let's go forward a few days. Okay, it's stationed at the jump point. Let's pop over. Hello, hello, hello. We're going to go ship list. We're going to grab the naval sponges. We're going to hit detach. Then we're going to rename, and you're going to be orbital weapon platform void all. And then if we go forward like 5 seconds, there we go. And yes, their sensors are actually on. So weirdly enough, they did turn on the sensors while they were inside the Ragland. Sure, okay. Ragland. Movement order. Come back to Sol. Oh, come back to Sol. And then Earth and refuel, resupply. And what we'll do is we'll do that again. This time, I think we will defend... What are the jump point to strategist? Something like that. That seems sensible to me. Now, we do have a couple of other acts to deal with. The act that requires us to put mining installations and stuff up here. And the act that requires us to put some sort of mining installation down here. Not that one. Here we go. Now, what I'm thinking is Zanmar. Because that's a pretty good amount of stuff. Again, a pretty good amount of stuff. And that's pretty reasonable. Like, Zanmar is tempting, and the reason it's particularly tempting is because it has some adjacency to Dracon, etc. But it is 3 jumps away. What might be more tempting is Subject Delta. Because 2 jumps, so it's closer. And then Jazza, Pepster doesn't have anything in it, but the Jazza aliens are there, and they look like they're mining, I think. And although Jazza's got a load of stuff, they'll probably expand. So they will expand down to Subject Delta, which is a choke point. Note that it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 jump points. If we take Subject Delta... there we go. And claim it as our own. It's got good stuff. And it has more good stuff. Like, this is something that we can use. So I'm thinking we'll want to take Subject Delta and start shipping stuff over there. Infrastructure and then some people. Because that way, if the Jazza aliens do show up, we have a legit claim on the system. Like, we have a pre-existing colony. And that is how aliens in this game work. You know, sometimes they're more hostile, sometimes they're less hostile, but in general, they will weigh your claim on a system based on having people living there. And so if we can claim the system, set up like legit operations, colonies, they're much more likely to say, hey, you can own this system, that's fine. And it does have 5 jump points, so it gives us this, you know, nice choke point that we can use. Now, we actually have the, what's it called, the jump gates and stuff already set up. So what I'm thinking is that we'll probably want to send people over there sooner rather than later. So we'll close this up. Actually, we should check. It's C1 is the vaguely livable planet, right? Where will that be? Environment. Overall colony cost 2. The atmosphere isn't breathable and the temperature's a bit too high. Oh, a bit too low or high? A bit too low. Yeah. But it's got a 2 colony cost, so pretty easily we can just move people over there. Let's check. Is anyone free? I don't think anyone's free. The Jagnafs, you've got a year left. You've got a few years left. What about the future planets? Okay, let's remove all your orders. Earth, and we'll say unload, refuel, resupply. And then when you've done that, we'll give you an order to start going up to Subject Delta. Now, down here, it's harder. We have to do something. And unfortunately, Strategist is not great as a system. There wasn't really anything in it. Hoyle, on the other hand, potentially interesting. Admittedly, something weird, like we were thinking of asteroid miners, but we have a policy that states we have to set up some sort of mining base or something. So either we do it in strategist and it's not great, or we go to Hoyle. That will probably require us to stabilize the jump point. So, Father Prax 1. Yeah, you're stabilizing the jump point from Idril to Agent. When you're done with that... I can't say when you're done with that. That's not an order I can give. I'm thinking that we can get you to come down here, strategist Hoyle, Hoyle strategist, and then up to Kerlika and do the Kerlika one, because Kerlika actually had a load of stuff in it. And then we should be vaguely good. At least that's the theory. We'll set up in Subject Delta. We'll set up a little bit in Hoyle. And we should be A-okay. Now, I also probably want to go over here and say, hey, the deployment time on our survey ships is starting to get up there. So once you've done this little batch up here, we'll probably want to bring you home and give you a bit of a going over. I don't know if they'll have finished the survey down here. I think they'll be able to finish up here, though. Yeah. Right. How is our research going? Pretty good. We're still waiting on a heavy static armor before we can do our ground forces. And we do now have a policy that mandates a 50,000-ton navy, 30,000-ton ground force. Well, we're going to need to work on that, which means ideally we want our static armor, which is slated for 2 years' time. We have ship tractor beams coming in soon, which is nice. Actually, very soon. Actually, let's just get that, I guess. There we go. Now, logistics, we've got our tractor beam. We probably won't want to actually start building tugs yet. Like, I know we want to have tugs eventually, but for now, we won't bother building them because they're probably better off using the better drive technology we're going to get, which is only a few years away. Well, 6 years, but it's going to make a huge difference. Having better drives on a tug is, you know, I mean, they're going to be 99% engine and fuel, so. We want the refueling hub, we want the orbital habitat, and we want the ultra-large fuel storage. Well, let's get the orbital habitat because we could start work on them with our industry. And for now, we'll just grab that. You will take a while. Yeah, we'll move people around. Like, when the heavy static armor is done, we should be pretty good. Okay. Right. In the meantime, you know what? I'm going to do some adjusting of this map because as it currently stands, we've got a load of jump points coming off, say, Lewis. Probably have some on Vastran. You know, maybe it could do a bit of tidying up. Well, actually, we haven't finished checking how many jump points are going to come off these. We could leave it a little bit. Yeah, let's leave tidying up our map for a little bit longer. And actually, let's just advance time for now. I'm also going to build 2 more Jagnaths. The idea is these 2 Jagnaths are going to be ones that are going to place like mass drivers around, etc. I could say, you know, go in and build like 5 more and then 5 more, make another 10, and then have another fleet. But ultimately, are they going to be, I mean, are they going to be useful? I mean, actually thinking about it, probably will. The new drive, which will replace them, is slated for 6 years' time. We'll probably cut that to maybe 4 to 5. But we are starting to think about Subject Delta. You know what? Let's just get the 2 for now. And those 2 can go and do like individual mass drivers. Right, and put the extra slitway coming for Dwagon Man. Okay, let's load up another batch of 20 fighters. We would like you to go to the Ragland. Now, where are we going to put these fighters? We could put them defending like the jump point and strategist. We know we've got enemies here next to strategist. We could put them defending the jump point and Mr. Grey. Again, there's hostile aliens here. And also, you know, the Jazzites, the Jazzerites, whatever you want to call them. They do actually have a name, don't they? Grosvenor Protectorate. Okay. The Protectorate are up here. So maybe we should defend that jump point. I'll probably go with defending the jump point to the closer threat, the strategist. So let's have you move up to the jump point. Active sensors on. And that will take 50 days. No, actually going to like the location in Vulgaris took like 14 point something days. This is 50. It shows how far this jump point is out of the system. It's actually kind of scary because if anyone actually comes through this jump point, we likely won't see them. It's just that far out. We also probably should color that event so that we have, you know, obvious, you've completed orders. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Order complete. Yeah, nice green. And we're going to name this fleet, now that we've deposited them, the auto weapon platform, Sol-Strategist. Yeah. And then we'll put JP at the end for jump point. Done. Okay, that should defend that jump point nicely. And then we'll order the Raglan back to Earth. Now, that does only leave 8 fighters, so it's going to take a while to actually finish this off. I'm kind of thinking we just want more of these. Like, they're actually pretty damn useful. So we will be able to cover every jump point in Sol except one. Probably the one to Calica, or maybe the one to Vulgaris since we're defending that already from the other side. With the amount we're producing. I think we should up this. We might want to then protect Subject Delta. Admittedly, it's got like, you know, 5 jump points in, one of them going to us, so, you know, maybe 4 batches of defenses. That's 80 of these. Strategist, if we defended it actually in Strategist, that's another 2 batches. If we wanted to up the Void Wall, that's another batch. I think we maybe add 100 more. That's 5 batches of 20. And each one has 8 missiles, so that is 800 missiles. We've actually got missiles slated to be finished later this year, so. And we'll up this to 900. We're going to need to figure out a better way of building this. We should probably up the number of ordnance and fighters. Yeah, that's going to have to be our like next set of industry projects. We need more ordnance facilities and more fighter facilities. Obviously, you know, they're on the way in the queue, but they'll take their time. Okay. All right, Father Praxis finished orders. We're going to bring you down to Sol, to Strategist, and then the Hoyle jump point. So stabilize the jump point, standard transit, stabilize the jump point. And that'll take you half a year plus 2 years for stabilization. So we might get it under the wire. We've got to get this done before the turn of the government. So we'll try and do it fast. It doesn't actually have to be done by then. It just has to be done as soon as possible, preferably by this government. So we'll have to do that one. The alternative is just to plop something down on Strategist, but that would kind of be just paying lip service. There's nothing really in Strategist we want to take advantage of. I missed these Jagnas being done. Earth, we would like to load installation. We would like to load infrastructure, which is getting low. Then I would like you to auto route to Subject Delta. And then at C1, unload all installations. There we go. And come back. And refuel. And that'll take 96 days. And instead of repeating the order, we're actually going to use something new. We're going to put cycle moves, which will allow us to just keep going. And it's just going to keep doing the same repetitive pattern. Because we do want to build that world up. It looks pretty decent. The actual system is going to be a good mining system for a long time. Randall Seraph got 25,000 research points in total. Nice. Very nice. Right, let's continue on. Carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. EXR's me a misdone. In Tholius no more. And sorrows above the noise and confusion. Just to get a glimpse beyond Davit's. I don't know. Anyway, let's go to the osmium. One thing to be aware of is, of course, the jump points in Davit. Coming from Tholius, which is the 2, and going to Yabashiru would be dangerous, but going to strategist is fine. Sure. I'm actually going to have you come back, because you're getting to that point where your deployment's been a bit long. So we're going to go and, you know what, let's actually remove the block the auto route. I can just say directly go to Sol. Just hopefully won't slip up and get them to go past the center where there's that danger. Earth. Resupply, refuel. And begin overhaul. Okay. We got our active grav sensor, which is nice. Now, this is the second to like where I'm happy active grav sensor. 16. I consider 21 like a good pausing place. 16 is like, auxiliary control is the one I'll go for here. Auxiliary control is the, hey, you've got a second bridge. If your bridge blows up, your ship's dead. You know, that's it. If we have an auxiliary control, that will take over after the bridge gets blown up. And of course, we've got this, you know, very dramatic music that's just chosen to be played in the background right now. You know, kind of back me up on this. Thank you. So we're going to go for the auxiliary control. It's also really cheap at 2,000 research points. Okay. And we got a couple of Jagnas. That's great. What we'll probably want them to do is to like go to every system in subject Delta and start depositing mass drivers. So I wonder if we could get the civilians to do that though. Maybe we should just start building more freighters instead and let the civilians do the mass drivers. That's tempting. I wonder, we could also do that with deep space tracking stations. Are they really big? Let's find out. Deep space tracking station. 25. No, they can fit one deep space tracking station in a cargo hold. Because we'll probably want to have some of them in subject Delta so we can actually like see. So, you know what? Let's see if we can get the actual civilian economy doing stuff. Mass drivers. We've got 56. Like, I've built enough that we can start spreading them around now. So what we'll do is we'll say, hey, mass drivers, we're going to supply, say 30 for now. And then we can just go down to subject Delta and say, hi, I would like a mass driver. Can you supply one? Now, we might find that civilian economy is like, don't really care about that. It can be sometimes a bit picky. Ooh, we've got infrastructure here already. Nice. How much will that support? 0.5 million. Interesting. Okay. We could start shipping people there pretty soon. So we've got our mass driver demand now. We can also expand this and put mass drivers in more places, etc. Whatever. But for now, the most important part is doing it at the subject Delta. We'll also then want to just start building some more Jagnas, since why not? We've got the capability. And if need be, we can always like convert them to use the new drive later on. It's not as cheap. Like, drives are expensive to change over, and you can overhaul a ship to kind of replace the drive section. But since they're like, you know, complicated bits and often like a third of the ship, it gets very expensive. So we will build, and I want to go to the cargo fleet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A little bit slower because we changed our mind there, but whatever. And now, do we need anything else? I'm trying to think. I think there's something I'm missing, but I can't for the life of me figure out what it would be. Oh, right, yes. I want to have a look at our colony fleet. So the Sapphire Ebonies, you can take 1 million colonists, but you're pretty slow. Which is actually perfect. Because it'll take 2 trips of our infrastructure to take 1 trip's worth of people. Which for me sounds perfect, you know? We will want to check. They are currently going to the jump point back to Sol, which means that you'll probably get overtaken. I don't want to go dump 1 million people and then have that 1 million people suddenly like half of them die because they don't have protective domes and they freeze to death. That would be kind of awkward. But because we're slower, if we skip forwards just a little bit, we should be okay to do a run to deposit 1 million people. Right, auto route, subject delta. Oh, we should pick up people first. That tends to help. Load colonists, auto route, subject delta, unload colonists, and then come back to Earth. Perfect. We'll also check. Yeah, people are shifting mass drivers. This is great. What about deep space tracking stations? We've got 24. We're going to say allow. We probably want to keep a fair few on Earth, but we'll say we'll add supply of 6. And then let's actually have a look at the layout of subject delta. So we don't care about B. You're way too far away for us to really want to worry about. There's also nothing around it. The jump points we're concerned about are mostly the jump points here, Pepster, and the Mr. Grey jump point. Distant Roman hasn't proven to be, you know, particularly there's anything past it yet. So what I think we'll do is we'll deposit 1 station, well, not station, deep space tracking station in the system, like in the actual like area around the first star, and then we'll do 1 around the 3rd star, which is where most of our actual buildings and colonies are going to be. So, subject delta A1, we would like a deep space tracking station at demand, and then the same with subject delta C1. Now, here's the miracle of deep space tracking stations. They don't need anyone to actually be in them. They're completely automated. They're effectively like automated listening posts. You're setting this thing up that's just reporting back. Doesn't take any workers. Which means, now that we're doing that, we could have a look at, say, defending ourselves from strategist by putting down a listening post here. Now, there is a couple of Lagrange points. I'm just trying to see if there's actually a jump point that would be close enough to be caught. I don't really think there is. That's the issue here. 1, 2, 3. Where's the 4th jump point? Oh, Hoyle. Here we go. Yeah, only if we place something around Strategist A6, and I believe that's a gas giant, would it actually catch anything. If we have a look at asteroids... Oh, cool! There's asteroids in the Lagrange points. That's really cool! Okay, that's just blown my mind. Because that's a real thing. You get like these clusters of asteroids in the Lagrange points around like a big body. Yeah, we're not really going to be able to cover any of these jump points, sadly, by listening posts, so... that is off the cards. What about in Agent? Because we know that Agent... Not that one. Agent, there we go. Well, unfortunately, again, everything is, like, on a line here. Will we catch anything coming through here? Unlikely. It's almost, like, 1 billion kilometers away. So, again, not a really useful place for a listening post. Mr. Grey, because that is on the route to Sol. Again, the tracking station will be kind of far away. So, okay, we're going to shelf this idea for now. What might be worth it is going down to Zanmar. The reason being is that Zanmar is a place that we want, and it's connected to both Dracon and Neltab. it might be a good idea to at least, deposit a tracking station here so we can keep a tab on it. We don't really care about the jump point so much, as mostly we care about keeping a tab on the actual system itself. So Zanmar, A1. We will, could it be A1? A1, yeah, A1's the one we want to get. We'll go to Certain Economy, and we'll add demand for a deep space tracking station. Great. Right, the Father Prax 2 has completed the orders to stabilize that jump point. Over to Gunslayer. Where's that? Oh, here. Oh, it's the jump point to Gunslayer from Zanmar. Yes, okay. Now, did we really care about Nelt Tab? If I recall correctly, there were things we were vaguely interested in Nelt Tab. But let's be a little bit more cautious for now. I'm just kind of aware that we are expanding, and if we leave open stabilized jump points, people will just wander through. Anyone can go through a stabilized jump point without a jump drive. You need a jump drive to do something more interesting, like using an unstabilized jump point. We're going to actually have you wander back to Sol, and we're going to get you starting on the Kellica jump point, because that's one that we are not certain, but are pretty sure is safe. There is no connection to Kellica. However, that doesn't mean that there isn't like a dormant jump point. Those can happen. So we're going to go pop back and then stabilize both ends. It's probably going to be safe, but it's not certain. And then Kellica's right for the plucking. The Sapphire Ebonies have completed their orders and now orbiting Earth, which means Subject Delta. 1 million people. This pleases me a lot. Now, obviously, this is just our first step. There's a lot more we need to do, but it's a nice first step. What we'll probably do is, after we've shipped over more infrastructure, etc., we'll probably start sending them mines, because, there's a lot of stuff to mine in Subject Delta. It's pretty good for that. Admittedly, you're going to be taking some time here. And we'll probably keep the Sapphire Ebonies just kind of sitting by. Give you a standing order to do something weird, or... Now, you can see that we're actually doing pretty well. The civilian economy is actually taking over here and really helping out. They're actually starting to shift stuff. If we have a quick look over at the shipyards, we've just built some more Jagnas, so we're building 2 more. Things are going pretty well for us. And the Thulium is unable to do anything in Chaos Chest. Okay. Well, we're going to bring the Thulium home. We'll have it do a complete and utter overhaul. Alright, we upped our fighter production rate, which we do need. Like, that really does help us. We actually want to spot, I think, fighters being built faster. Was that going to be 84, or has it not applied yet? We're going to quickly go down to construction production. There's so many things we want here. Like, we do want the orbital mining module, but there's also, honestly, everything. The shipbuilding rate would be nice. I think what we do is we still, say, hey, what will make everything easier for us? It's going to be the research rate buff. We're behind. We need a research rate buff. Getting other stuff will make us stronger in the short term. Getting the research rate buff will make us stronger in the long term. And the party in charge right now is the Alliance of Sexy Scientists. So I think that they're going to be very much behind a let's increase our research. So we're going to go and grab that. It's only going to take 9 years, which for 20,000 project that we're doing kind of ahead of time. Yeah, that's fine. Right. Carry on. my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Lay your weary head to rest. Don't you cry no more. Okay, the Greys have completed orders. They're orbiting Earth. They were mostly running infrastructure to the Jovian moons, and they could continue to do it. However, they are not great. They use a lot more fuel, and they're a lot slower, and honestly, I think we scrap them at this stage. The Greys have kind of done their duty. Duty. Yeah. Let us go over here, and we're going to go shipyards. And you. Have you scrap Grey 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you've run out of shipyard slipways, and then we'll go to this one and scrap the Grey 6. Done. And we'll hopefully get back some useful modules from that. Okay. We got heavy static armor, which is what we wanted. That's going to allow us to create basically like heavily armored bunkers, which we want because we're going to be building 30,000 tons minimum, probably going to build 50,000 tons of defensive forces that are going to sit on Earth and hopefully defend it. And obviously we can ship some of them to other planets to help defend them. But the key part here is we want some forces that are able to be very defensive. So let us go to our research. We're going to reallocate our ground combat. Heavy vehicle is possible. We could go for xenoarchaeology. We could go for geosurvey. Increase our construction rate. Also very tempting. That's construction rate of ground force construction rate. Like when they reinforce what they're called entrench. Like they can make people tougher by building better bunkers and better trenches. And they'll do it faster. I think because we have the leading party that we do, like they're ruling over us, they want this mandate, etc., they're probably going to be going for xenoarchaeology. Now, would I go for xenoarchaeology? Yeah, probably not. But RP-wise, I think it's very fitting that they'll want to do that. So we're going to assign that, and we won't assign 13 scientists. We'll just assign 6. And that'll be done 71. That's reasonable. What we'll do with the rest is we're going to assign a few more to increase our research rate. The magnetoplasma drive, I kind of want to get faster. And then terraforming rate doesn't really do anything for us. Could speed that up, but yeah. We don't have any terraforming modules yet. The warhead, the armor. You know what? Let's put one on the armor. And then honestly, it was logistics that we had a load of stuff after this we wanted to do. Yeah, I'd actually like to put more on logistics. There we go. Get that done in 2070. So 2070 we'll have the ability to really build some habs, which it seems to be like a good idea to me. Overall, going pretty well. Infrastructure is still being built. It's going to take a little while longer. We're down to 44% left on the green field. Automated mines are obviously just going to be in progress pretty much forever. And the research facility and financial labs are doing the same thing. The military academies are underway. And then, of course, we've got stuff to back that up. More naval shipyards, fighter factories, and ordnance. Good. Okay. I think we'll end this episode here. It's hard to tell how long an episode is going to be until I cut it. This one does seem like it's going to be much shorter. But also, I don't think I've got enough time left to really get into the intricacies of working on an entire ground force and like trying to sort that out and also explaining as I go. So I think that's something we'll deal with next time. But for this episode, we're going to call it here. If you do want to get involved with the very shortly upcoming election, we're looking at 1.5 years until the election. by the time you see this video. Probably too late for this one. Probably won't be too late for the next one. Go over to the Discord and get involved in the interactivity. There's a link down below. There's a whole load of interactivity now. We've got like the policies rolled out, and obviously we've got the 3 policies that the Alliance put out. We've also got the policy that Base put out, which was that we need 50,000 tons of defensive fleet, which we have, and we need 30,000 tons of ground forces, which we're going to do in the next episode. So like the interactivity is really cool and working. I'm really enjoying that. But if you want to get involved, that'd be great. You can also go and check out the Discord for the announcement channel, which will list all of my videos and streams, so you don't have to worry about trying to hope YouTube will tell you about my videos, which it probably won't, but also it will tell you about my streams as well. And if you do want to just follow the YouTube stream, like video feed, whatever, the sub feed, you can do so. There's a link down below. Subscribe, hit the bell, do all that stuff, but also commenting and liking. Until next time, stay shiny.